Right, top 10 guns. Number 10, we have the XM4. This is the new gun to COD Mobile as of current, and it's pretty good. It's basically just the Type 19, but slightly worse in range and slightly better in proximity, with better mobility and, from what I can tell, faster fire rate. It is a decent gun for an aggressive playstyle, but it does have some pretty bad sights, so if you can't use sights because you're blind, I would recommend putting a red dot on it, although it's not really necessary, as you can see here. This is my brother recording because I am lazy and I didn't want to have to do 10 ranked games using guns that I don't really enjoy using, so that's why the gameplay looks a bit weird and why the HUD looks weird. But yeah. Here's the build. Number 9. You all know it, you all hate it. The man of war with thermite ammo. Don't use this unless you genuinely cannot aim. It's not even that good of a gun, to be honest. It has a slower time to kill than every other gun in the game, pretty much. But you only need to hit 2 shots, and unless your opponent is running Dauntless, you will kill them no matter what they do. They might even run into someone else and inflict the thermite damage on them. I did not enjoy using this. Here's the build. There is genuinely no reason to have anything other than the thermite ammo. Next up, and at number 8, we have the R9. This shotgun has incredible range, decent mobility, but honestly you don't really need that good mobility because you can just run with the secondary out. And on top of all, it fires 2 shots at once. So if you miss the first, you still have a chance to hit the second. Despite what certain people may say, this gun is ridiculously easy to use if you have the slightest amount of aim, primarily because of the previously stated double shot potential. Simply point and hold down the fire button, as with most guns. With this specific build, you should always ADS because that gives you the most range, and if you don't have custom sights like I do, I am rich, this gun is still perfectly usable and I would encourage you to do so. That said, it is fun, relatively versatile, and yeah, here's the build. Now, if my memory somewhat at all functions, at number 7, we have the Fennec. To be honest, this should probably be higher, but I made this list after having not played the game with all the guns on this list for quite some time, but I still think it holds up relatively well in today's meta. The Fennec is an insanely fast-firing SMG with not that great of a mag, and more range than you'd expect. Other options, if you can't control recoil and don't have enough skill to use the Fennec, include the CX-9 and the FFAR as potential contenders for the Fennec's role, but ultimately the Fennec shines through. Custom sights are very nice for this gun, but they also, as with anything in my opinion, aren't necessary. I am using them because I have them and I didn't want to not use them, but you don't need them because you're honestly not going to be aiming down your sight enough for it to really matter. This gun isn't so much better than all of its competitors that you just should use it over everything else. Do feel free to use other things as well. This is just my favourite SMG. Here's the build. Number 6, we have the MG42. This gun is basically just the post cursor, that's not a word, I don't care, to the PP-19 Bison, as it requires very little skill to use with an insanely fast fire rate, literally 0 recoil, and as you can see here, very good hip fire accuracy. There isn't really much reason to use this gun if you can play the game at all. Here's the build. Number 5, and at a relatively stark contrast to the previous gun, we have the Type 63. This gun requires at least 3 fingers in order to be able to shoot the gun quickly. It requires good aim, good game sense, good knowledge of how other guns function, but once you've mastered it, it is very strong. But why use this gun over counterparts such as the SKS? The sole reason is the 16.5, I think, Task Force barrel, which increases fire rate by 16%, making its time to kill leagues faster than any other semi-automatic competitor. There is no reason to use this gun unless you put that barrel on. There is no build that is good unless it has that barrel on. As ever, here is the build. Number 4, and we have the Type 19. This gameplay isn't very good because I had an insane game with so many crazy kill feeds the game before this. My device just said that it hated me and decided not to record, which I'm not too happy about, but you have to believe me that this gameplay does not represent how good this gun is. With high accuracy, high range, high fire rate, high mobility, this is a jack of all trades. At number 3, we have the Odin as well as the Lag 53. After the recent buff, the Lag is very good, but the Odin still easily holds its own. In my opinion, you should just go for whichever one you enjoy playing with more. The Odin has higher mobility, but a slightly worse hitbox, so if you're more accurate, I would recommend using the Odin. However, apparently I don't seem to notice because neither of these guns have any recoil. The Lag has less recoil. What I do notice, on the other hand, is that it does have a far more consistent 2-tap, so if you are looking for possibly a more aggressive gun, I would recommend using the Lag 53. The Lag is technically just better because of that hitbox, so if you have custom sights for it, definitely use it over the Odin, but if you don't, the Odin is a better option. Here are the builds for both. Number 2 is the DP50, but I'm not going to show any footage of it because I despise the gun. Number 1 is the USS-9. We've all heard it a billion times. I don't need to go over it. Thanks for watching.